Good morning again. As I try to personally figure out a way to comprehend and come to terms with my own life and myself and all others and Tigger. Yes, Tigger. I noticed that in a lot of other videos. People have cats. They turn on the video and start talking. And the cats come and want to get right up in it. But the weird thing I notice, as soon as I pour a drink, I start listening to music with my headphones on. Or I've been high up in some other space, so far away. I'll look over, and both the cats are curled together like mother and baby, and licking each other, and just in perfect harmony. How weird is that, right? So, and the dogs are scratching to get in. And my brother's cat is standing at the door howling. What is going on here? Here, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna let them dogs in and do something. I'm gonna get my coffee and fill up my coffee and do something for Snowflake. I'll be right back. Oh, good. It didn't quit in the middle. I guess after 5 minutes or something, it stops the pause. And I have to clip the video. And I haven't gotten into editing. And of course, the moment I go up there, I open the door, the dogs aren't there. So I'm like, what, somebody already let them in? I go into the dining room, and Snowflake's just sitting there. My brother's still in bed. He's just sitting there on the kitchen, down on the dining room table that nobody uses to eat. Just looking out the window. Nobody needs anything as soon as I showed up. I start making my coffee. No, as soon as I'm petting Snowflake, then the dogs are scratching at the door. It's like, why is everything so backwards? And now Tigger's content for a minute. Drinking out of the water bowl. After she spilt my water glass, which is right next to the water bowl, of fresh water. She wanted the one that was going to get her into trouble and make a mess. So everything might be different for you. You know, I guess that's, I want to talk about planetary alignments. But the weird thing about that is, so each of us are born at a different time and place, and unless we're twins, but even then, you're still a few minutes apart. And you'll have different names, even though technically nobody has a name. It was given to you and then taken by the government and turned into a company separate from you. But then you have to lead apart from it and together with it, and as a son or daughter with your twin. But even if you don't have a twin, the company's already made a shadow of you, and each of us has a shadow side, and there's a light and a dark to all things. And yeah, coming into alignment, where's that at, right? But somehow, like we're all on the same planet, like the concept of an asteroid that could hit one spot on the Earth and affect all life everywhere on Earth, even if it's not exactly at the same time. I guess is kind of the idea behind all ideas. at the same time as not one person, not one government, not one state of mind, not one anything can rule everyone. While we're all ruled by one thing, and that's the sex drive or the passion or the pain or whatever we have our eye set on. Oh, here comes Tigger. So I just wanted to briefly go over something that's happening in the astrological. Whether it means something to somebody or not. I guess if it doesn't mean anything to somebody, then they wouldn't be here. And they wouldn't care to know or be interested in the zodiac or in space or in God or in self or in Tigger's butt. She wants all my attention just to be up here and put her ass in everybody's face. Oh, yeah, we're talking about you. Everybody's got a 6 and a 6 that we're sitting on. All right, sit on my lap. So, so many distractions. I guess that's what makes it better, right? Like when you're watching the news and or a play and something goes wrong. You see the play 100 times, and all of a sudden you notice, what? The thing didn't happen like it's supposed to, or, oh, the sandbag fell from the ceiling and it didn't hit nobody, but that, it's all about the differences and the togethernesses. So, supposedly, I'm just going to go over the astrological thing that's happening. As of 2 nights ago, whether it matters or not, that Uranus, because of what looks like a retrograde motion, if you don't know what that means or how that happens, you could look it up. But retrograde has to do with how all the planets are traveling in orbits, right? And so, but they're traveling at different speeds. And sometimes the ones on the other side say, so then the Earth is traveling like this, and this planet's traveling like this. But then this thing happens when they cross, that it all of a sudden looks like, oh, now it's going the other direction. And you can look it up. Well, Uranus is retrograde back into Taurus from Gemini. And that happened 2 days ago. And this phase is going to happen until February of 2026. And it's supposed to be, it has to do with, so Uranus is considered like some motifs and metaphors behind it is it's the creative one. Like, for instance, it looks like Neptune, like they're both like gas giants that are about the same color or whatnot. But it has a ring, but its ring is really tiny and faint. But the weird thing is it travels on its side. And really, And it's attributed to the sky god. Which you look at the sky is really creative, it's always changing. It's what the clouds do and what the stars do, and the meteor showers, and the eclipses and everything at the same time. It ain't creative at all. It's fucking always there at the same apparent distance, and it never fucking changes. All the changes happen on it, apart from it. um, which brings me to this image that you can look up about Uranus, uh, of that there's two images of the god, I guess, on the same painting. One, it kind of reminds me of myself a little bit, or the states between highs and lows, and which one's high and which one's low. One where he's standing up, and he's holding this ring, and it has the zodiac on it, but he's standing there like he's naked, and he's like, "Look, I got everything, the whole universe right here." And then on the other side, on the corner, then he's laying down like a Greek god. He's just covered in a cornucopia of fruits and everything. He's like, fuck it, who cares? I'm God. And then life is everything in between that, isn't it? And at both ends. And then Taurus, the bull, Taurus is attributed to Venus, the god of love. And like in the last videos, talk about love, like how, yeah, it's everything. It's nothing. It's something beyond something, and it has to have something to hold on to. But not having anything, then it just sprouts like rage, like a bull. Supposedly, when it sees red, it just runs at something. And so, Taurus is tied to stability, like the ground, like it doesn't change. It's happy, like you look at cows in the field, and it doesn't look like they have hardly any emotions. They're just content just standing near each other, just eating the grass. It's all the same. It's so stable it won't ever change. At the same time as it's attributed to the other version of the ground, which right now, as of today, you can check it out. Mount Kilauea is erupting. I saw first thing this morning. It was actually the first thing I saw this morning. And how, yeah, the ground's so fucking stable, and then all of a sudden, Pompeii, Mount Vesuvius blows its top, and then everybody's covered in ash or encased in the same position they were standing in. How weird and amazing and impossible does that seem when you get covered in, when all that stuff is so hot, and it didn't happen instant, and how did it happen? Instant freeze. It seems impossible that could ever happen. More so than things being stuck in a tar pit. And so, how love can be so passionate. It's just there, it's gone. At the same time as when it's gone, and it's there. You took my thing, Or, I have everything I need. Nothing needs to change. I ain't going nowhere. I'm content. Yeah. And so, this retrograde of Uranus into Taurus, as I pull up some information to add to my own knowledge to share with you about it, it's signifying to all, apparently, a transition that fundamentally addresses friction between revolutionary innovation and material inertia. That, for instance, like, okay, now we got all the materials, now we can finally build something. Oh, but if we run out of materials, now what are we going to do? Are we all just going to lay around? Or are we all going to go home and do something? Does having nothing spark creativity? Or does having all the tools create better? Is less more or more or less? So this time period is about disrupting and creating. Uranus is called the Great Awakener and Disruptor, associated with sudden, unexpected change, revolution, breakdowns, and breakthroughs. Often described as the mad scientist or innovator, inventor of the solar system, symbolizing limitlessness and the push past boundaries established by planets like Saturn. And Saturn can be seen as the father who says that it's always going to be this way. It has to be this way. This is the way it's always been done. And you know from having kids or seeing children that in one way, children love that structure. They need it. At the same time, as soon as you give them that structure, then they're going to tear it down. Or as soon as dad's outside the room, they're going to be like, hey, you go stand and look at the corner and make sure he's not coming. And then we're going to do what the fuck we want. And then when he comes back in, yeah, we're just watching Disney. But we were just playing doctor. You know? Taking turns who's on lookout. Reminds me of this clip I saw. I can't believe the shorts these days. On how weird they are. I guess it's to push everybody towards knowledge and backwards on how nonsensical they are and how it's attached to nothing and how weird and stupid. I don't know. I had an incognito account, right? And I went there, and then, well, there wasn't anything in my feed because it's like I don't exist. So then I just popped in. I'm like, well, what'll show up automatically? I went to shorts, and I went through like 50 shorts, and I'm like, oh my God. There's nothing here that makes any sense at all. This is the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. This is like drug on drug on drug on. Who the fuck made this shit? I think I'm losing my mind just while watching one of these things. But there was one that I wanted to bring up. Oh, what was it? No, I can't remember. Let's give it a second. There's no need to rush, right? I can't remember. Saturn. And pause this for a second, see if I can come up with it. This must have been relevant. Yep, just like it goes. As soon as you let it go, then instantly it comes back. So it was the skit of a woman, like a mom, but she was playing two parts. One is the daughter, and one is the mom, and they're like sitting there, like playing together or something. And the daughter's like, Mommy, what you and Dad do at night? When we're going to sleep? When I'm going to sleep? Nothing. Just watch movies. What kind of movies? No, nothing you'd be interested in. Just adult movies. Okay. And then it sniffs away. 2 weeks later, she's sitting there petting her doll, brushing her hair. She's like, just Siri. What are adult movies? And then it pops it up. She's like, yeah, kids. There's no corner them in. So, yeah, there's a symbol of Uranus and creativity at the same time as what goes around comes around, right? And the limitations can spurn creativity almost more so than having everything at your beck and call. Kind of makes me think of, weirdly enough, how exercise, right? All you need is yourself and your own resistance in the world. Like, you can do push-ups, you can do sit-ups, you could pick, you could lay on the ground and use this chair and push it in the air. You know, if you don't have anything, like a person in a jail cell, you run in place, you can do leg lifts, whatever. But as soon as somebody wants to get into exercise, what do? They go shopping. It shows what the ego does, right? They're like, I want to buy some fitness bands and some ankle weights, and I want to get something cute to make my butt look good, and then, all this stuff. And then a lot of times what happens? You bought it all, and so then the creativity goes away. Or now you got to work more to get that money back. And so you're more in debt. Maybe if that money was free, well, if it's free, you're trying to lose weight, then, you lost a lot of weight in money. But now you're probably going to have to wait. You know, it's like, the joke behind the diet. If you want to lose some weight, you can stop eating. And every time you want to eat, you can just go for a walk. I mean, it's a cruel truth, but how are you explain that to anybody? If you want to lose something, you could just stop. Money ain't gonna solve the problem, probably. And more exercise equipment ain't gonna solve the problem. And taking weight loss drugs probably ain't gonna stop nothing. But how do you get something to move that's stuck? Like the Taurus thing. If it's comfortable where it's at, how do you get to budge? If the mind goes, yeah, I want to lose weight. But then, for instance, you take a weight loss drug or Adderall or some speed or whatever. Then what do most people do? The same thing, but different. Oh, yeah, now I'm playing my game. Oh, yeah, I'm losing weight real fucking fast, huh? And they don't lose any weight. Life is a goddamn cruel joke, isn't it? Especially when everybody can go at least 3 days without eating. Even 2 weeks. If you wanted to. But everybody's just got one and on one. It won't get off that motherfucker, will they? So we're going through this Uranus retrograde in Taurus, which it ties to a celestial thing that's been happening from 2018 to 2026, called, where is it at? It's called the Great Awakening. That's happening right now, everywhere. Where everything's trying to hold on to the old system and trying to innovate and change and get the new system. But how much change can you fucking get in your life? How many different ways can you exercise? How many different... Okay, we got Coca-Cola. Oh, well, what if we made it cherry? Well, what if we made it lime? What if we add more carbonation? What if we take the carbonation out? What? Okay, so we have all these fucking drinks. Okay, but you just need water. And we just need water to fucking make them, right? Okay. But nobody wants water. Or if they just want water, well, they already got that on tap. Yeah, we're at a dead end, aren't we? Oh, shit. What if everybody stops drinking these drinks? Then we're all gonna be fucking broke. Man, we gotta come up with a new product. Especially if everybody stops taking our drugs. Damn it. And such is nature. It overgrows. And then you have too much of the same thing. And then what happens next? Well, there's too much. There's not enough people to buy it. Or everybody gets so numb to it. Everyone's just fine with the basics. And then all of a sudden all these products go dead. But then, once they're dead for a couple of years, then people are going, you know what I really feel like is an orange Fanta. I wonder if they have that anymore. Oh my God, did they stop making it? Oh. We always want what we don't have, right? And we always got what we need. So the world's going through a period called the Great Reset. Review, integration, and course correction. Because the planetary retrograde is an optical illusion where, from the Earth's perspective, like I was explaining, a planet appears to move backwards through the zodiac. And for outer planets, because of our distance to them, each one goes retrograde for about 6 months. And I believe the North Node, which that's a weird ass concept altogether, because we got North Star, we got a South Star, which is our body or the ground, or, what stars on the south? We can't see the ones that are on the other side of the planet, the Southern Star. What star? Especially when we can't even see our own face till we're looking in a mirror, and that's the joke behind it, right? And the North Star never moves, so what's this North Node shit? The North Node is retrograde. It goes through, it takes like 1.5 years between changes. All these things allude to something else, but it all really comes back down to whatever the square one is, whatever we're at and whatever's around, and somehow making sense of it. So Taurus both symbolizes as a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus, represents the foundational elements of material life, like money, resources, income, stability, comfort, self-worth, material possessions, and the physical body extending to the earth itself, the Southern Star concept I just mentioned. Characterized by loyalty, strong work ethic, practical and often conservative approach to financial security, frequently favoring saving and fixed assets. But then once you get too much comfort, and everything's going right, well, then what happens? You get lazy, you get fat. You get pissed off at the smallest thing that's not going easy. Or at the quickest little sign of, I'm interested in collecting coins. And then you have all this extra resources. Then you spend everything on collecting coins. And it teaches you something, but you didn't go anywhere. Nothing changed. And whether you made any money off of it, lost any money off of it, or collected a whole bunch of it and you decided, well, it's to save for the kids. What is it worth? Not a goddamn thing. It's worth something. Everything. It is a waste of time. It's something to not focus on yourself. It's, what is it? Kind of like the exact same opposite of when you got nothing. Then you'd be happy to run into somebody and just to talk to a stranger for 2 hours. Or, goddamn, I wish I could just get drunk. Goddamn, I wish I could just get high. Goddamn, I wish I just had a roof. Even if it's a cardboard box. Goddamn, it's just one thing. Now one thing's everything. Fuck everything else. But anything else that comes up, well, hey, this is even better too, It's the eternal balance of fight between excess and lack, for lack of a better analogy. This inherent Taurian resistance to flux sets up a dynamic conflict with the Uranian mandate for radical immediate change, transforming this transit into a major clash between revolutionary freedom and entrenched security. Like we're all going through about, things I brought up one way or another of how everyone should have a basic income. At the same time as, well, if we just give everybody a basic income, you can say, okay, as of today, the government's going to send out a check next month into everybody's bank account or by paper mail. And every single person in the country, direct deposit, on the first of every month, will have $2,000. And then on the 7th, every single person that gets it by paper mail will have it on the 7th. And we'll make it so every single state in the country, everything costs exactly the same. Or it'll be fixed on, on some kind of curve. Okay, so this state, the average income is this, so then you make this, regardless of how. See, that's the balance of, and so we do that. Will it or will it not make it so that nobody wants to go to work anymore? Will it or will it not make it so that those that are homeless, they get their house, and we all have freedom of our own bodies to do honestly what we want with them, as long as we're not hurting each other, honestly, which is weird. If we're all tied together, and by hurting ourselves, supposedly we could be hurting others. Oh, but then by standing back and letting each other do what we want, well, this is exactly the balance of the state of the universal love of anarchy and peace that the world is in. There's been a couple states and a couple countries that have tried the universal basic income, and with some success. but it's challenging, and it's easiest to do it in places that are like an island, like Kenya. As far as I know, most of the people well, I don't really know, but I'm actually directly tied to somebody in Kenya. My very first day at actual college, I stayed with, they didn't have room for me yet. Just to throw a story in here before we're going with basic income. I stayed with Roger, the blackest man I've ever seen in my life. Like, he was blacker than black. He's like that. Yeah, that black paint. It doesn't absorb any, it doesn't reflect any light. And he was really cool and just like so down to earth. Just like a brother. I stayed in his room just for a night or two until I got my room ready. And then it turned out, well, the reason I got to stay with him is because Rocky Mountain College in Billings. It's weirdly, it's a private Methodist college, but it's not intrinsically about religion. But a lot of Christians go there. And at the same time as of the, I don't know if it's by region or whatever, but it takes in foreign exchange students, kids from countries that have what it takes. But if they stay where they're at, they're gonna die. They're not gonna have any choice to live. Like geniuses in the gutter, right? And so it recruits kids and brings them over, and then the spiritual guru Marsha Mittman, who had helped me get there, her daughter was, and probably still is an attorney that worked at or beside the Yellowstone AIDS Project, helping people affected by AIDS at the same time as she was an attorney working for the school and helping these foreign exchange students to get their green cards so that they could stay in America after they got their degree. And so I love that school. It was so amazing. It was like living like a king as somebody who never really had anything, you know. And I'm sure a lot of those kids, others, felt the same way. It was so nice just to have a safe home and be with so many different people. And everyone was happy to be in America, happy to share and be about where they're from and be who they are. And well, Roger, he and his brother were in the aviation program and wanted to be pilots. And they're, at the time, his parents were fleeing or hiding in Kenya because his father was the rightful president or whatever nominee, was this person that's supposed to be in charge of the country. And they had to flee due to rebels that did a coup on the country. And because they had enough money, because, you know, but even being rich, as you could be in Kenya, then there's all these bad people that don't want order. And so then the first thing they did is, they sent their kids out so they'd have a chance at a better life. And his parents were killed. And then the saddest thing I ever heard is they got their green card. By the time they graduated their pilot school. And then it's so eerie how they moved to Florida and they were in a single engine plane together. And for some reason, whether it was sabotage or they did it on purpose or out of grief for their parents being killed or whatever, they flew that motherfucker right into a mountain after they got their freedom. It doesn't make any sense. So back to Kenya. In Kenya, the universal basic income is $22 a month. And that just shows how much money it takes to get by there. In America, shit, people who make $3,000 a month still living at their parents' house. But there's no judgment. Everyone's got to learn on their own, right? And especially for people who live in tribes, holy shit, that's a lot of fucking money. Then they get back, especially if you got a family of 4. Shit, you're making $80 a month just for all of us together. And before we were getting by on $2, for the whole family and going, shit, we could almost buy a condo. In other places, Alaska has done it. In Alaska, they base it on the oil prices. Because of the oil pipeline, and everyone in Alaska gets a basic income of approximately $2,000 a month per person. One thing they found, the special thing about Alaska is how it's separate from the rest of the United States by Canada, and that it has one resource that provides a lot of money one way or another. And, well, it's kind of a niche kind of special thing. But one thing they found, weirdly enough, in that climate in place, is that it didn't really affect employment. But it did the comfort did lead to higher birth rates. For one, well, we have one more kid. We got $2,000 more a month. That seems like a lot, huh? But at the same time, no matter how many kids you got, okay, well, shit, it's just as easy. It's easier to take care of one than it is to take care of 4. And if having 4 gives you $8,000 extra a month, or $6,000 more a month, as opposed to having 1 and $2,000 more a month. But nobody can necessarily, I think, in Alaska, live that comfortably for $2,000 a month. It still leads people to want to go to work. But then having that comfort level of everyone feeling secure about themselves and being able to get their own place. And if they want to go get fucked up on speed or get stoned or whatever, everyone's got that ability at the same time as has got the comfort of their place. It leads to automatically everyone going, well, everything's got to move forward, I still need a partner. And everyone still needs a lineage, something to carry on, and wants a kid. And if it's just about money, or if it's just about kids, or it's just about a drug, if everybody's got the money to, go to the bar every weekend and take somebody home, but has the money to go home to their own place, it really kind of fixes the balance. And everyone, it really works there because of the isolation and because of the economy of how it can support itself through oil, which everyone needs oil, and through and for instance, so you got as much money as you want a month. Everybody gets $2,000 a month. Well, I want some adventure in my life. If I have all I could go on a fishing boat and make so much money a month and get some life experience. Just like, I got spun for 2 months, I go on a fishing boat. That's dangerous as hell. At the same time as to know you got that money in the bank and you can come back. If the fishing market doesn't work out, as long as you survive and get back to land, then you're good to go. And then you got the money in the bank because you didn't have to pay for a place to stay. And you could be like, well, so I'm going to take the summer and I'm going to have $8,000 saved up. I'm going to buy a little tiny apartment. And then I'm going to start my creative business. Where I'm going to, and then you have that time to fantasize while you're out on the fishing boat and think about what you want to do with your life. And it's kind of the best of both worlds. And I think that all that kind of really comes down to where the world and the United States is really trying to figure out right now. It's whatever's the piece of what I'm trying to explain here. It's not just about freedom. It's not just about having everything you need. It's not just about your passion because, well, if you could just, just $1 million painter, or you have your studio, and every month you could make 5 paintings that sell for, $1,000 a piece, you still need something else. So comfort and lack go hand in hand. And ultimately, it all comes back down to love and having people you enjoy spending time with. Knowing that we're all fucking crazy. But it's okay. The world's a fucking crazy place. As long as we can enjoy each other's company. Then we got the 10 of Pentacles.